Hello sports fans, Shalthis here. Time for another Rocket vlog. So, I actually wanted to talk really quick about this article that I just read from a site called Pixel Attack, which is pixelattack.net. And the article is entitled "The 5 Worst Types of Rocket League Players You'll Meet." It seems that this article is basing these comments around, like, random pickup players, and not, like, proper teams or anything. But I wanted to go through the list because I don't really agree with a lot of it, and I'm going to explain why. So, first thing on the list was the person who sits on the goal line all game and thinks they're helping. And the idea is that these players should be going out, clearing balls that get into the corner, and trying to prevent shots. Here's the thing. That is a great philosophy if you are playing goal in Rocket League. Here's the problem, though. The reason that's such a good philosophy is that you typically have communication with your teammates, and there will be a teammate who will back you up. It's a bad move to go flying out the net to try and attack a corner ball when you don't have anybody who's going to hang back and keep an eye on the net. If that ball goes over your head, or the other team gets to it first, you need to have somebody back there to stop it. In a game where you're randomly getting teammates, that level of communication is not there. That level of teamwork is not there. So, yeah, sitting on the goal line or sitting tight to the goal is not a bad strategy. Obviously, you want to make plays to the ball if you can get to it safely before the other team can, and get back to the goal. That's really the intent here. So, it's not a bad idea to hang back, sit on the goal, be at the goal for most of the game. It's probably a little better to play a full defensive position. What I usually do, if I'm playing, random 3v3 or something, I will play kind of midfield. Because I judge the position I'm going to play based off of where I start in a pickup game. So if I'm the furthest car back, I'm in goal. I'm defending. I'll hang back and I'll wait. And when the ball is deep into their end, I'll move up to midfield. And I'll kind of gauge things out there. I can usually spin and make a quick boost back to the net if the ball starts heading the other direction. But I can also set up some shots. I could also follow up on a setup shot by hitting straight to the goal. So I think that's probably a better approach, is when you're in these pickup games, if you're going to be on defense, you're going to be in goal, play the goal. Do it. It's perfectly fine. Make plays to the ball when you can, just like in real soccer, real football. But don't feel like you have to make plays to balls in the corner and fight off other players because you don't have that backup that teams do. And that's really the important thing, and that's why it works for teams. So, I disagree with that one. Next one, the person who's terrified of hitting the ball when it's in front of their own goal. This one I kind of agree with just because of how they explain it. They don't explain it as, not wanting to make a defensive attack on the ball, but mostly when the ball is making movement toward the goal and nobody's making a strike on it because they don't want to be the one who puts it away. I guess I get that, but here's really the idea. If the ball's heading toward the goal, you have to do what you can to stop it. That's really it. There is no time to make judgment calls on the best way to clear or the best position to clear it from. If it's tight in the goal, if it's in the scoring area, hit it out, And sometimes when you're in these little pickup games, the best way to practice how to approach the ball that way is to just do it. And you got to get under it and hit it. Sometimes you're going to get the wrong angle on it. Sometimes you're going to make an own goal. But that is what it is. When you're doing these random, solo queue 3v3 games, that's a risk you take. You're going to get players who may not be fully versed or how to best approach a ball in that situation, and you got to deal with it. If you don't want to deal with it, get a team. Get on a voice chat and communicate. And that's the way you deal with that. Number 3 was the person who types "what a save" or "nice shot" into the chat when a person from the last example actually goes for the ball and scores an own goal. Yeah, that's just, you know, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick to your teammates. It's one thing if you want to be a dick to your opponent, you know, maybe you can attribute that to just being, you know, whatever, you just want to have that kind of fun there. But don't be a dick to your teammates. You know, people fuck up. They make mistakes. Let it happen. Don't, you know, don't get on their case about it. Last one, the person who saves up all their boost power all game long because what if I really need it later? I don't really know of players that do this. I mean, is this a more popular thing? I've played a lot of games and I don't think I've ever seen a person who just has a ton of boost left. I mean, I don't really notice, but I see people zooming around. I see people who steal the boost right from under me. So it happens. But part of what they're saying in this article is that you don't need a lot of boost stored up. Making sure you have about 20 for shots or emergency defensive maneuvers is sufficient in most situations. Depends. Depends on the role you're playing. If you're playing a striker and you're capable of doing aerials and things like that, you're going to want to have more than just 20 boosts stored up. You know, you're going to probably want to keep your tank topped up so you can make plays when you need to. It's also a pretty good idea to have a lot of boosts stored up anyway. You know, you're going to burn through it pretty quickly, just moving back and forth and making plays. But it's not bad to store up a full tank of boost. Yeah, it's easy to replenish, but here's the thing, the game moves so fast, and the ball can be from one end of the court to the other in no time flat. So you have to get the boost you need when you have a situation to do it, and if that means you're holding on to it for a long period of time, then that's what you're doing. You know, that's it. It is what it is. So, you know, don't feel too bad if you want to hold on to your boost and bank it up, you know, because it also takes, that's another skill that's kind of acquired when you're playing Rocket League, is gauging where the boost pads are in a strategic manner. Like, if you're playing high-level Rocket League, then one of the best defensive maneuvers, or I guess you can call it offensive, either way, I'll say it's defensive, is to steal your opponent's boost pads from them. You know, sending somebody out to take out the big boost tanks in the corners on your opponent's side is great, because that means you can make an offensive attack and they're going to try to get a boost to get under you or make a play, and they can't do it. So that's a way that teams can win. But anyway, getting back to the point at hand, you know, you need to be able to strategize where the boosts are, when to best get them. You may not really know. You may not yet have that timing of, okay, the ball is there, I have enough time to grab that boost canister or grab a couple pads and get back into position. You may not know that yet. And again, that takes time. So don't feel bad if you want to hold on to your boost. But learn. You know, start gauging the timing. Trial and error. That's what Rocket League's all about, is trial and error. And speaking of which, that takes us to the final thing on the list. The person who is not good at making aerial maneuvers but insists on constantly trying to make them anyway. This is the worst one on the list because I disagree 100%. Despite the fact that the person who wrote this article says, I admit I'm guilty of this because boosting through the air to attempt aerial shots is fun, it's also the best way to learn. The tutorials are okay. But here's the thing. The amount of times you're going to be hitting a stationary aerial ball are zero. You know, that ball's always moving. The ball's always going to have opponents going for it. When you're at the level where you can attempt to do boosts, so can your opponent. So, practice is key. And practicing those moves in real matches is also key. You have to do it. You know, you have to make those attempts on the ball because that's the only way you're going to get better at it. So, I do it. I'm still trying to learn how to best time my aerials, and you have to learn that timing. So, if you ask anybody, pro level players, in fact, Linkuru released a hilarious but on point video about how to learning to do an aerial. You jump, you tilt your car back, and you hit boost. You know? That's it. Because here's the thing. You can't really be taught how to do an aerial. You just have to practice it. The mechanics of doing the aerial is basic. You jump, you tilt back, you boost. You know? That's how you do it. But getting that timing down of when to boost, when to launch from, how much boost to use, when to use it, that's all part of the strategy and part of building it up. And that's what you practice in these pickup games, where they don't really matter. You know, okay, it sucks to lose a 3v3, but it's a standard or something like that. It doesn't matter. You know, if you're in ranked, it's assumed that you probably have a partner or some kind of team going. If you're solo queuing in ranked, then you're putting yourself in the same risk as if you were doing it in standard. So, I disagree completely with that one, because that's the best and only time to practice your aerials. And it's the most effective and most efficient, way better than the tutorial in the grand scheme of things. So do it. Keep practicing your aerials. Soar majestically through the sky and slam into the wall. Miss the ball completely. That's how the pros do it. Or did it. That's not how they do it now. But sometimes they do. I've been watching Cosmic Aftershock, and I've seen Gibbs soar majestically under a ball and over a ball. It happens. You know? It's hard to gauge sometimes, but that's the thing. I just wanted to talk about that article really quick. I threw the link to the article in the description below, because I figure if I'm going to sit here and talk about it, I might as well give them, you know, some clicks. If you want to read the article, it's worth it, but I just gave you the gist of what it's about. So that's it. I just want to share my thoughts on that piece and why I disagree with most of it, and why those really aren't the worst types of players. There are definitely, I would say the worst player that you will encounter in Rocket League in this type of environment is the player who constantly attacks the ball because they want to be the one to score the goal. They'll steal it off of you, they'll deflect the ball off you. I run into those kind of players all the time. Stop doing that. Not only is it annoying, but it doesn't help the team. If somebody's got a shot to the goal, if they're moving toward it, let me move. Let us move. Sorry, I'm a little personal there. Let us make an attack on the ball, on the net. You know, back off. Play defense. Do a little collision. If you see an opponent coming at me, hit him. Knock him off the course. You know? Play defense. Don't try to steal goals. There's a difference between trying to steal goals and trying to make sure that the ball goes in. I do that sometimes. Like, I'll boost toward a ball that somebody else has made a shot on just to make sure it goes in. And if it goes in before I get there, awesome. Goal for us. If I can be the one who puts it in because it was, you know, defense was going to catch up to it, whatever. Goal for us. I don't care about my personal accomplishment. Goal for us. Okay? Anyway, that's all I got to say on the subject. Let me know in the comments section below. What's the worst type of Rocket League player that you have encountered or typically run into? I'd love to find out. But if you have any other questions, comments, anything you'd like me to talk about on a future Rocket vlog, let me know. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all again next time. Take care.